Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Frankie here, and yes, today I am outside in nature. So I'm outside in my back, and if you hear the kids, I mean, y'all just gonna have to bypass them because they're on the trampoline. Yes, you see. So I wanted to come and talk to you guys about negotiating your salary, okay? So this is going to be extremely helpful for new nurses. If you are or have been a nurse for many years, then you kind of already know how to get what you want, okay? So when negotiating your salary, one, you want to be reasonable, okay? So don't be a brand new nurse just graduating nursing school so much you want $30 an hour, because they're gonna probably look at you crazy as an LPN. For RN, so one, you don't want to go in there asking for like $50 an hour, because they're gonna look at you crazy. They're gonna be like, what? You can see your way out, okay? We're not doing it, especially as a brand new nurse. Like, no. So these are kind of like my tips to help you guys get the pay that you want. So we all know that we all are doing nursing because we love nursing. We don't do nursing for the money, but in order to survive, we need the queens, okay? So we are going to raise some things here so we can get the money that we want. One of my tips that I have when it comes to negotiating your pay is that you want to look up in your state, in your city, really just a state, to see the average pay of a new nurse. If you got so much experience, then you may want to I'm trying to find a good lighting because it's like super bright, but I can't go this way because yeah, that like washed me out. But you want to look up the average pay, okay? So as a new nurse, as a new LPN or RN, you want to look up, the average pay for your state. Now, when you're looking up your average pay, now do keep in mind, if you have been a CNA or if you have any type of healthcare experience, patient care tech, CNA, med tech, then you do want to try to consider that. A lot of jobs will not consider that. I'm gonna be honest. They'll be like, oh, well, it's not the same as nursing, but you do have patient interaction. You have taken care of patients. So I feel like you should hold your foot down on that, okay? When you go into these interviews, from my experience and the experience of other colleagues and nurses that I know, when you become a nurse, which was so new to me, they will ask you, what do you expect to make? What is your dollar per hour that you are looking to make? Me, as a brand new nurse, like my cousin already kind of got me hip just a little bit, but mind you, I was a brand new LPN, so I ended up going to an interview at this nursing home, which I did my clinicals at. And one of my semester, in like the very short first semester I did an LPN, we had went there. And so I had went back there, and they hire new grads. So keep in mind, if you're a new grad, they may, like, your pay is not going to be as high because you're not certified technically. They're letting you work as a new graduate nurse, and then when you pass boards, a lot of times they raise your pay, okay? So I went, when I got in the interview, they were like, what do you expect to make? And I was looking like, and I was like, what? So I was like $20 an hour, okay? Me not knowing no better, y'all, I didn't look up no averages. I didn't look up anything, okay? We're just gonna be very honest. So that's what I said. And you know what? That's what they gave me, $20 an hour as a new graduate nurse. And then he was like, well, once you pass boards, then we'll bump you up to $21 an hour. I was like, oh, okay, honey. I was like, cool. Not saying a lot of places are not as generous in my state of Missouri, but yeah, so that is what they started me off as, a brand new graduate LPN, literally out of nursing school. So I'm working as an LPN, making my little coins, and I'm all, thinking I'm just doing something, right? So of course you get to talking with colleagues, and one of the things they say, do not talk about your pay and things like that. So I'm hearing colleagues talk, and they're talking about their pay. One person is like, he's like, oh, I get paid $23 an hour. Another person like, oh yeah, I get paid $24 an hour. Another person like, oh, I get paid $22.50 an hour. Like, it was just varying. I'm like, dang, like, what's up? Like, what is this? New nurses coming in saying they getting paid this. Mind you, they have maybe 1 year of experience. Some of them had about 3 to 4 years experience, so their pay, of course, is understandable if they're making a nice amount of money. But for the ones that were coming in like me, and I'm hearing them talk about their pay, and I'm like, dang, I got the short end of the stick, because they went and they told them a higher amount, and luckily they were able to get closer to the amount that they wanted. So my tip is, when you go in there, even after you look up the average, you go in there with a number, a price in mind. Of course, you need to know your worth, but then you also need to understand that if you have never been a nurse before, please don't go in there with no high, outrageous number for hourly pay. The easiest jobs I found to negotiate were nursing homes. I worked at a couple. They're the easiest to negotiate because a lot of times they need help, they're understaffed, and whatever whatever hourly rate that you say, a lot of times they will go ahead and just give you that amount. Now, the hardest I found were the home health cares. You say an amount, they're like, well, we start off at 18, we start off at this and that, and you're like, me personally, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all need to hold your ground. Okay, if you know what you're worth and you're reasonable and you're within amount, say your average say your average in your state is $18 an hour as an LPN, then when you go in there and you say, you've had your clinicals and you're a brand new nurse, then go ahead and shoot for like $20, like $19 or $20 an hour, because a lot of, depending on the facility, it varies. So my tips and trick for negotiating is, 1, have a number in your mind, have an amount in your mind, whether that's 23, 22. 2, look at what you previously been paid. So if you're a brand new nurse and your previous job you were getting paid $12 an hour, then no, I don't want you to be just bumping it up $1. You want to look at the average and bump it up $1. Okay, that's what I want you to do. So when you look at the average, if your average in your state is $19 an hour, I want you to go in there and you ask for $20 an hour. And you have to be confident when you're asking. Please don't go in there second guessing yourself and just straight up negotiating everything, because that's not gonna work. Okay, so you want to go in there and you want to be like, yeah, I want $20 an hour. You want to sound confident. You want to just be like, look, this is this. Okay, either you can give it to me or I can walk out the door. Because you got to remember, you're a nurse. There are plenty of jobs out there. There are plenty of other agencies, other companies. So honey, please do not be hurt if they do not want to give you what you want. So you tell them what you want. And a lot of the times in an interview, from my experience, they would either say, yes, that will work, and you go ahead and do your paperwork, or they would say, well, what we can give you is $23 an hour. So you say you ask for $24 an hour, and they're like, well, we can give you $22 an hour. And then you look at them, you say, well, that's not going to work for me. If that does not work for you, then just let them know that does not work for you. It's okay. If that does work for you and you shot higher than what you wanted, so say you did want $22 an hour and you shot for 24 and they said we can give you 22, and you say, okay, that'll work, then you didn't got what you wanted, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So I say shoot higher than the amount that you want, but not too high. I say about $1 more. I wouldn't go so much as like $2 higher per se, but some people have done it. So $1 or $2. Now, if you are a nurse and you've been a nurse for like a year, 2 years, and you previously were paid $22 an hour, then yes, you can go ahead and shoot up to 20, 23, 24, maybe even 25. You can go ahead and shoot on up to them numbers. Why? Because you have experience. You have dealt with patients, you have dealt with doctors, you have done the medication, you have done the wounds, you have done, trust me, you have gotten so much experience. So yes, shoot that number up and Say you say I want $25 an hour, but really you want $24 an hour, and they say, well, we cannot do that, we can do 24. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But if they say, oh yeah, we could go ahead and do that, then honey, you just hit the jackpot, because you didn't just raise your price up like $3. You know what I'm saying? Like $2-3. And they were like, yeah, we'll do that. So 1, when negotiating, you want to look at the average. 2, you want to go in there with confidence and just show that you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not gonna know everything. So again, it's not about knowing everything. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But you go in there, be confident. Be confident in the amount that you give. Don't sound unsure, because they could pick up on that energy. They could pick up on that. 3, raise your vibration. Okay, I know you like, what? Raise your vibration. Okay, raise your confidence, your vibration. Okay, when you raise all this up, they have no, like, you're on a higher frequency. A lot of times when you're in a good frequency and your vibration is super high, then you're going to get what you want. It's called manifestation. So you can manifest the amount of money that you want to make an hour. Okay, which that's another video for another day. But I'm just saying. Okay, so manifest it. Once you give them your number, do not go back and forth on what you're going to get paid. Okay, so if they say, we cannot do $24 an hour, we can do $21 an hour. And you're like, no. Okay, so in your mind, you're like, nah, that ain't gonna work. Then you tell them, if you want to go back and forth, please don't go back and forth a lot of times, because really, they're just really not going to try to agree with what you want. So if you go back and forth one time, that might be okay. So say, no, the less I would take is $23 an hour. And now at this time is in their court. So they may be like, yes, we could do that. And if they say, no, we could do 22, then you say, no, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Have a good day. And you go about your businesses, because you know what? It's other jobs out there. You go find you another job. Okay. And then a year later, if you really want that job, then just go back. You can go back a couple months later. You can go back a year later, 2 years later, whenever. And you go back with your amount. And I guarantee you that second time you go back, you are going to get the amount that you want. Because 1, you've gained some experience in between time. And 2, your confidence is going to be up. You're going to have some high confidence. So keep that in mind when you are negotiating this pay when it comes to these jobs. Okay, trust me, I've done it. It has worked. Like I said, I don't go back and forth with employers. I'm not going to go back and forth. I know my worth. So if I say I'm worth $25 an hour, then I'm gonna need that $25 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're working at a hospital, in a nursing home, you're doing a lot of work. Keep that in mind. Like when you're a new nurse, it's okay to get paid a little bit less. It's okay, because you're building that experience. So my first year as a nurse, I'm building this experience so that if I go to another job, I have this nursing experience under my belt where I can negotiate a lot harder and a lot better. Because when you're brand new, you really don't have no backup. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, I just got out of nursing school, but I want to get paid $30 an hour because I did nursing school for a year and a half or whatever. They're going to look at you like you can hit the dough. Okay? So build that confidence. Y'all got this. Okay? I hope this video has helped you as a nurse, a new nurse, or even a nurse that's been a nurse for years. A lot of times you guys know how the negotiation game work. But if you're a new nurse, I hope this really helps you. You do want to get experience. You don't want to be outrageous with your number. You want to be reasonable with your number. Because if they do decide to pay you more than, say they decide to pay you that 21 and they average is 19 for new nurses, and they say, okay, we'll do it because you got this confidence, you're like, but they're going to be watching you. Just know that. Now, another thing I want to talk about is that once you're hired, that is not the time to go back to that office and be like, I want to get $24 an hour. No, it doesn't work like that in nursing. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Once you lock in and you agree in that interview of the amount that they're going to pay you, I don't care if you get on that floor and every other nurse around you is getting paid $3 more. I guarantee you, if you go in that office and say, well, everybody else is getting paid more than me, I want to get paid this amount of money, they're going to deny that request. So the best time to negotiate your pay is during the interview. It's during the initial interview, when they're talking to you and when they ask you, what do you want to get paid? Do not wait until you get in the job and you hear what everybody else making, and then you go back and say, like, I want to get paid more, because it's not going to work. You might as well just get a new job, start over, and do that. Now, I'm sure in rare instances for nurses that's been there for a while, they may be able to get some type of raise. The first job I ever worked at, they give $1 raise every year. So no matter what and there was no cap. So if you're there for 15 years and you didn't got a $15 increase, basically, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have a cap on how many years you can get this dollar, anything like that, which is really good. But the work there, and you had a lot of patience, and it was a lot of hard work. If you are ever since then, I haven't ran into a job they give dollar raises annually. Doesn't matter your performance, they literally give you $1 every year. Every other job, some of them go by performance, some of them go by they give you maybe 20 cents a raise, 30-cent raise, you know, but nothing like that dollar raise. So you definitely want to negotiate at the beginning. Do not wait till you get on the floor. Don't do all that, because it's going to cause more headache, more stress, more negative energy, low vibration. You don't want to deal with that, okay? So just ask for what you want up front. I don't care how outrageous you think it is, but I'm telling you, just try to be reasonable with what you're asking. And once you get the amount that you want, if you get on that floor and there's somebody making more than you, don't let that get to you. Don't, like, if they have the same amount of experience and they making more than you, a lot of times their negotiation skills were just, maybe they negotiated a little bit different. Maybe they know somebody there. Maybe they, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't know the people's connection that they have with people in them environments. So don't just be negative towards yourself because you're like, dang, I could have asked for more. No, okay, you ask for what you want, you stick with what you want, and be happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm a new nurse and I'm making this much, and that's good. I'm making more than the average. So again, 1, look up the average in your state. 2, build up your confidence. When you ask, just ask. Don't be afraid to tell them what you want. 3, raise your vibration, because once you're on a higher frequency with your vibration, then a lot of times you will get what you want. And then 4, do not wait till you start the job and start working and hear what everybody else making, or you decide to change your mind and you want to make more, to go in these people's office and be like, I want to make more, because a lot of times you're going to be denied. Okay, so hopefully that helps. If you have any other if you have any other tips on getting the salary that you want or pay per hour that you want, comment that down below, because I'm sure all of my new nurses and even existing nurses like myself, we love to hear those tips. So put those tips down below of ways to increase your pay. If you know other ways to increase your pay after you have already started the job, put that down below, okay? Other than that, I hope you found this very helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.